All right, we are back. We are connected with computer audio. I hope. So, a while back, I did kind of like a deck challenge to ask what a Jairus' daughter deck would look like. Um, and this is kind of what I came up with. I've had little different versions of this a while ago. Um, Originally, this was supposed to be Ghostee's deck. And Ghostees is what I call gospel and post exilics. And you cannot say Ghostees. I trademarked it. And if you say it, I will sue you and you will owe me money. So Ghostees is just a cool name, right? Good gospel, gospel gold, and post exilics. So I had post exilics in here first, and then I brought in Jairus, and I had like Watchful Servant for a CBI band, and I had Talitha Come for banning in the characters from Matthew and or the gospel characters, and I had some dual characters as well. It just got a little too big for its britches. So where I talk about really refining decks. It's the end of getting towards the end of June. We want to know what we're doing with our deck and what the meta is. So I really feel like the meta is well defined at this point. So I wanted to kind of show a few things. But yeah, this came out to be pretty much the deck challenge of Jeremiah and Jairus' daughter. And what I did was kind of incorporate a few things here. So a lot of banding going on. Y'all know me, but a lot of banding. You'll notice Akeem is not in here. I had to bring in Eleazar. And since I have Joshua, I felt like I hit so much of what I want to with Akeem anyway that I took it out. Priest of Zeus isn't in here. That's just because I have such a huge offense in the reserve. I just couldn't fit Priest of Zeus. And I'm trying to do something else on defense. So maybe like a Nero and a Denarius could come out. And I could fit in like a Priest of Zeus and an Akeem and stay at 50. This is at 50 with the hopper. Like I said before, as we get more and more into closer to nationals, our deck should be refined, fine-tuned. We should have a plan, know what we're doing, know what our deck does. So I took out Babel. I took out Confusion of Mind because I feel like, yes, phenomenal cards. I do not normally recommend to take them out, but I feel like there's so many. It's so common now. A lot of people are just getting around it real quick. So I don't know. You can keep it in there by all means. It's so much value. Like I said, I do not recommend taking them out. I just have a slightly bigger defense that has a kind of a rinse and repeat add to battle. So I did feel comfortable with my defense. So yeah, anyway, offense first, because that is what wins. So we have a lot of different bands here. It's kind of like the Jehu deck. I mean, it's very, very similar to the Jehu deck in the sense that you have your obvious sword, Jehu, first sacrifice, coming prince. Joshua, I incorporated different builds into this. David can kind of get things going with Jehu sword, Joshua, Jehoshaphat. Feichel can also equip a weapon from reserve, which is really nice. It doesn't say like on an evil character, an evil weapon, you know? So if you're running warriors on offense and you have weapons and you're having a tough time getting to him, he's a Genesis evil character. That's important because you got armor bearer. Abimelech plays a Genesis in bands, and deceiver. So you have multiple ways to get to Feichel between lawless, darkness, deceiver, getting Feichel naturally. And he's a banding card, so clinging to power also gets him. So a lot of ways to get to Feichel early on, and you can start equipping weapons from reserve by turn 2 on your heroes if you want. So this was another way to where David can go get Jehu, and on my block, Feichel can equip sword if needed. But back you go. We're not talking about you right now. So David can go to who we need to. And we do a lot of bans here. Just we'll start simple. David can go to Jehoshaphat and he bans to musician, warrior, priest, or meek hero. For all intents and purposes, Jehoshaphat is going to, first we'll talk about the priests, and he can ban to 4 characters in this deck. So I can go to a simple look at their hand, toss the next. Cool. I can go to a by the numbers except stars, which CBN, CBP, he has to be CBI if he's going in front of Zechariah anyway, but he's a star, so Jehoshaphat works in front of Zechariah. If you control another minor prophet, which you do, negate characters except star cards. If you control another temple priest, which we have 1, 2, 3, which we do, we negate enhancements. I kind of care a little bit more about negating enhancements. So that's just a simple toss, hand look toss, or by the number band. So that's nice. Another priest to ban to is Ezra. And both, for this intents and purposes, Ezra and Jeshua ban to a post-exilic hero. Once again, Zechariah, well, I haven't said this earlier, but I'm saying once again in the band, Zechariah is a post-exilic hero. As I said earlier, Jehoshaphat's a CBP. So if you band in a by the numbers guy, they kick out, depending on the band, you know, who was brought in and what. So, sorry. And break over. So you band into a post-exilic. Zechariah is a post-exilic, so we could add 1 to 2 more heroes to the band and give us gold if we want into the band. Beep boop. Another, we'll just keep one out. Another post-exilic hero, Malachi. Malachi is a post-exilic hero, and he top decks, which Jeshua would get it, or take if X is 2 or greater, 2 being your minor prophets. He does. I don't take it in this deck. I only have 1 minor prophet, so he top decks, which plays to Jeshua, so I didn't mind. He top decks a star card from discard pile. That is Scattered Sheep, and that is Abimelech. I think that was it on evil. It's delivered, and then it's just about, I wanted to say it's all but Jeshua and Ezra. Yeah, it's all but Jeshua and Ezra. Well, other than Joshua and Jehu, but I meant main deck. And then gets back every single enhancement, plus Gathered Together out of Bethlehem. More importantly, gets back First Sacrifice and Teaching in Parables. So I can Teaching in Parables you, and then attack and literally get it back. Usually I would go to Jeremiah and have Gathered Together, and I would just band in Malachi and just keep doing stuff as needed. I don't need to rinse and repeat Gathered Together, but I want to get back my star cards. But yeah, he's a postie. Just another little cool trick I can do. I can grab out of Bethlehem, and at the end of a post-exilic band, he's really good. He also gets my heroes back. So really versatile. More post-exilics I can ban too. So we already showed you them, because he bans to a priest, and then I got post-exilics. More post-exilics I can ban to Eleazar, and he bans to an Old Testament human warrior. This is where we start bringing in Joshua and Jehu. I have Joshua and Jehu. They can exchange to each other and bring in, like it would go Joshua, Eleazar to Joshua, to Jehu, and then you would Jehu to Jairus. So for this example, whoever Jehoshaphat banded to would get kicked out, but Jeshua and Ezra are CBI and CBN. David's CBN. Eleazar's band would be negated, but he banded to Joshua and Jehu that exchange and are out of battle. So let's just say for this example, this, oh yeah, we have to do Jehoshaphat. Band, bring in Joshua, Jehu, exchange to Jairus. Jairus would come in, I would reveal a good dominant, negate other cards in battle. So now we would negate other cards in battle. Joshua and Jehu are not in battle. So Eleazar gets negated, but it doesn't matter. Jairus stays in battle. What else does this kick back? This is CBI, so this stays. Ezra, Jeshua CBN, so Ezra stays, well, from moving backwards, and then Jehoshaphat CBP. So Jehoshaphat, his ability would be negated, which would kick out Jeshua. So you would have David, CBN, he works to Jehoshaphat, Ezra, because Jeshua was CBN, Ezra stays, Ezra CBI, he bans to a post-exilic, which Eleazar would stay, who brought in exchange heroes to bring in Jairus. So, and then Jairus would bring in daughter, and we would now have a 10, 11, 5, 4, 7, 6, 8, 10, 11, 10, negate other cards in battle, and toss the next. So that's another crazy band. That's and hats off to Joe Schaefer. I showed him an offense, and he actually saw that band, not me. And then you have your simple kind of the basic origins, the fundamentals of the Jehu offense, which is just Zerubbabel to Eliad. And Zerubbabel could also band to a post-exilic. So you can band, this whole offense can band to each other and do a lot of different things. So you can get multiple by the number heroes, multiple toss heroes. You can recur Jairus' daughter over and over with Jairus. And that also gives you a reserve the top card of the deck over and over. Malachi can get back your star cards. We're going to put pressure constantly with Eliad, Jeremiah, Jairus' daughter. And we are going to gather together to bring in Malachi and Eliad, as well as Zechariah. So we can interrupt the battle, band in Eliad, Malachi, Zechariah. Zechariah would negate what they just played, assuming it's not a star card. And Malachi would get top deck a card. Jeshua would take it. Or I would top deck, like, deliver just to get another discard, you know, who cares? And Eliad would discard a card from their hand. All that with constant Jehu exchange is very, very good. Joshua as well to get rid of what's needed, the counters that would hurt me. You could argue that I should play like the cross in here, and I would not argue back. So yeah, real versatile offense that can do a lot, band to each other in lots of different ways. I really like it. Constant pressure with teaching in parables, first sacrifice, coming prince, Malachi to bring it back, constant toss hero, band in Eliad, absolutely demolish their hand as quickly as possible. Pretty quick setup. And I did feel we were a little too slow overall. So we did bring in Denarius Nero, which changed my enhancements a little bit. Jaden had a defense like this where he was talking about in the Grand Prix, playing against Rob. So I'm playing against Rob Smith, and he was talking about he knew Rob was probably going to play Matthew more than likely, and that's where we talked about Hendricks and I in the podcast is just knowing the meta, preparing, tuning your decks at this point, knowing what's out there. I wanted to also do this deck because I showed pretty much I showed kind of like post-exilics Jehu with a Philistine defense months ago. And here's the thing, that deck was not refined, and it did a completely different strategy to an extent. And it was the same brigades and the same themes. Yet this deck is vastly superior in all ways. It knows the meta. Um, and and the offense is way stronger with the heroes. So that's where you start refining your deck, know the meta, what's working, in my opinion. Toss heroes and negates are phenomenal. You can literally teaching in parables their hand to get rid of their CBP or their CBN. Or if they only have 2 enhancements in hand, you get rid of one and make them toss the other. I mean, it's so good, and then you just rinse and repeat. So it's a lot of pressure. I don't like that the defense kind of has like a finite number of blocks, but we have a constant add to battle going on. So I brought an outpost. If attack, you may play Evil Philistine from deck or reserve. I use Garrison as a fortress, and I block with Philistines. And then once you kill my Philistines, I bring Garrison into battle. And then, or I'm sorry, I reserve Garrison and bring another Philistine in the battle. Usually I'll block with like a Fickle, some sort of little band, and then reserve Garrison and bring in like a Commanders or a Goliath. So I kind of I like having the 2 withdraw characters. I know it's just an accept one, but I really want to bring in Azahith in this because Commanders withdraws all but 1 and bans to a Philistine warrior. And you can ban to either Armor Bearer or Fickle. And then you ban to Azahith. Is that it? Which one is it? Where are you? It's the one that withdraws 1. Let's see. Withdraw hero, Servants of Akish. Yeah. And with either KOT or King of Jairus out, that's CBN, Servants of Akish. So you would withdraw a hero, accept a meek. Opponent may top deck a card matching that hero's brigade from hand instead, and then it's CBN. So it's a nice little trick where and Commanders bans to a Philistine warrior. Servants of Akish is not a warrior. So what you do is you go to Fickle or Armor Bearer, and then you go back to Akish. So you withdraw all but 1, and then you ban to Fickle or Armor Bearer and bring in Akish. And then you withdraw the last, and they would have to top deck something from hand. So nice little play. I just thought it was kind of cute, and it wasn't always working. So I nixed it. So I'm just going to talk about it just because it's not in here. Anyway, I reserve Garrison. I add Philistines to battle. It's usually going to be one or the other. Or I'll block with Herdsmen and I'll draw. And then I'll bring in Commanders and Goliath. Or Garrison does not say, it just says, well, no evil characters in battle. So I can block with a Nero. You can play stuff against Nero. I could reserve Garrison, and then I can bring in my Phillies. And then Outpost plays an evil Philistine from deck or reserve. So I can play Garrison as an evil character. I would just have to book a law to bounce them. So that's kind of like a 1-2, but I can do that again. I'm mostly just clinging to power him. I just go clinging to power to get Garrison back because he's a protect card. And then I just play him as a fortress again. So it's a nice little rinse and repeat to where you have to get around big evil characters. Sometimes they're protected, or I withdraw all and then protect. So let's see, pretty basic enhancements. I really wanted like betrayal, go away, bringing fear, but since I have Nero in here, that's why I said it changed my enhancement choice. I like having something to play on Nero first turn potentially. So I did want to keep both enhancements. Other than that, pretty standard. We can talk about Lost Souls real quick. It is a 50 card deck with a hopper. Like you said, we at this point in the game and in the season, we are going to have refined decks. 50 cards with a hopper is usually what I mean by that, but you don't always have to have hopper. And then Wander is all over the place. So I did throw in Thorns. Just a lot of soul manipulation going around. And because of that, and also because of Thorns, I don't have Shield in here for another add to battle. Like Shield would have been in reserve, but I opted for Thorns because I'm seeing a lot of Shield, a lot. And then you add that with maybe seeing high places and Sadducees all over the place and Pharisees. I want to have Melchizedek in here as well to protect lost souls from evil cards and then punish them for wages of sin and clinging to power, because so many decks are running one of these two enhancements, if not both, plus deceivers in pretty much every deck. So if you're punishing the opponent for searching evil, that's huge. So ideally, I would have Priest of Zeus and Melchizedek in reserve. Maybe if I saw this offense was too potent, it's really, really good. Or maybe if I saw I didn't need Gathered Together, I don't know. It was just a little too much for Malachi. Like he wasn't needed. I could take Malachi out and I could bring Jehoshaphat into the deck, kick out Malachi and bring in Melchizedek into the reserve, and then maybe kick out Gathered Together and bring in Priest of Zeus. And that would give me 2 territory class characters for some more counters and some more meta hitting. But that's what testing's for. So yeah, covered everything. Darkness and Lawless to get us to one of the characters for Herdsmen and or Herdsmen. So these are the 4 characters that are or can go to Herdsmen. And Lawless could also go to an evil card. Abimelech is a band. So Clinging to Power could also get Abimelech. So Lawless can grab any of these 5 if they're on the top deck. And I think that's good. That's a lot of ways to go to the Abimelech, or I'm sorry, to the Herdsman, and then Darkness as well. We can just grab Herdsman. Exiles can probably be something else. I'm just so focused on getting back that star card. Like I want to just constantly hit your hand with Teaching in Parables. Joshua gets rid of Golden Calf. That I'm not really too worried. So I can just play enhancements outside of battle. So Exiles is just another way to get back a star card from discard pile. Or I mean, maybe a Seized by Babylon hit me or something, but really it's to get a Teaching in Parables back from discard. Now it's Lackey, so I'll draw it turn 1, but hey, don't tell Josh, that's not real, but it's real. And Distressed, just good Lost Soul in general. Prosperity, this one is just here to help the deck out in general. Like we have, we don't really have the quote unquote value, the consistency pieces. So we do have Darkness and Lawless, but there's other consistency pieces for Lost Souls. So I did bring in Prosperity for that little extra draw 2. Personally, I've been talking so much about protection. I think protection's all over the place. If you cannot stop a Disciple band that played I Am He, if you cannot, so Lost Souls and Disciples are protected from evil cards and harm. And if you cannot stop like a Root of Jesse with some more meek, like some sort of meek band, Mary, Temple Dedication with like a Jeremiah band and or 24 Elders. And then you also have the life through Christ for another 24 elders. So if you can't stop, like Jehoshaphat bands to a musician, and you can do a big band with with whatever consistency pieces you want, and play temple dedication and band to 24 elders. You're probably going to see the temple dedication and life through Christ played with disciples. And that way you have I am he, root of Jesse, temple dedication, life through Christ, I am he, root of Jesse, temple dedication. So you have 4 protection cards, and they could play Mary if they want with disciples or wall of protection. Protection's all over the place. I prefer protection plus toss because it's just so hard for the opponent to get around. So prosperity should probably be wicked. That's also why I like to have some big characters with protection and big characters with banding and big characters with add to battle, to make the opponent just have to play enhancements as well. So we will show probably what I talked about, that protection offense, maybe next week. So let's see. Let's do a quick simulation. All gold offense. That's a lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But hey, lackeys, there's no algorithm, right? It's completely random. I would have bet. I would have bet on that. Josh, I'm talking to you. Okay, play good temple from deck. I didn't bring Z temple in here because I have such good reserve access. I know. Killing me crazy. Top deck a weapon from reserve. You don't work. Reveal hand. If there's no hero, take one from deck. You don't work. Boom. Best one in the game, though. So reveal to owner. Top 6. What do we want? I don't know. When do we want it? Now. So we can put down a couple heroes and play Mayhem, draw a little bit extra. We could play Eleazar as Meek because we have Jehoshaphat and Ezra for bouncing. So we could play Eleazar as Meek and go to Plumline and get whatever we want from deck. Whatever we want, good card, but this deck is kind of predicated on teaching in parables first turn. I do have Zerubbabel for a draw 2 and get my offense going, and an Angel Lord with teaching in parables. So I personally think Angel of Lord teaching in parables is absolutely a battle winner turn 1. So, and we have nothing. Zechariah wouldn't work right now anyway. Mayhem, I'm going to lose some good cards off Mayhem, but I don't have an evil character. So we will go for the Lost Soul. All right, and now Lost Souls kick in. I meant we will go for the Lost Soul, as in we're going to go for the rescue, protect Lost Souls from evil cards, negate characters, and of course, Mr. Worldwide turn 1. So we put down, so souls are done, nothing upkeep, right? Don't get handsy. Do we need Zerubbabel, Plumline, and Eleazar? Yeah, why not? Take a good card from deck, first turn. What do we want? Now we can go Zerubbabel to, we can't look at our hand, but we can go Zerubbabel. He can draw 2 and play a postie from deck, or I can immediately go to a Eliad. So I go Zerubbabel to, I don't think I said Zerubbabel right? I just put it all together, Zerubbabel. So we can go to Zerubbabel to Eliad first turn, still get the draw 2. We do want Ezra down because Zerubbabel is going to be Meek and Eleazar. So we kind of want Ezra to come out so we can start bouncing these heroes. The proper play would have been to teaching in parables instead, and then we would have looked at what we needed. Now we can get a star card, but who cares? We can go to delivered and go to Jairus and get a block. I think that's the move. We don't have a character to play delivered on, but we are going to go to Ezra. Okay, I have decided. We're going to try to generate a block and generate a few more cards. Plumb line is discarded. We're going to play Teaching in Parables, which we should have done first. We are going to reserve an evil card from opponent's hand. This is so good first turn because there's nothing they can do about the card I reserved until next turn. Usually I would just, in this case, since I have Angel Lord, I could reserve the evil character if they have two, or I reserve an evil character if it was like a Firefoxes or Foreign Wives because I'm going to draw, or reserve the evil enhancement and force them to block with a character. So same with Nero. I was talking to Jay. So Jay, if you're watching, he was saying he could just get a Nero block first turn. I said, no, you can't. I'm going to Teaching in Parables you. I can Teaching in Parables you, see that you have no evil characters in hand. If you put Nero down for Jairus, get rid of your enhancement or, neutral dominant or evil dominant, and then Angel Lord, Nero, and territory, stuff like that. So, all right, we Teaching in Parable, whatever. Now we put down and we converted. We drew 2. I did not shuffle my deck. We drew 2. Oh, you would. And we're not going to ban to a post-exilic hero. We are going to play. And we do need Ezra. Oh, did I cheat? Top deck. Yeah, this top deck's delivered. So I had to shuffle. I caught myself, y'all. Don't worry. So what we would have, what literally would have done, which I'm sorry, it would go Zechariah, Nero, delivered. I top decked it. And then I Zerubbabel to draw 2, and that's how it would have happened. Then I would have searched deck for Ezra. I like having Ezra out since I can't search and band. I want to get my bounce going because I need Zerubbabel to get going again. I do like having a brown human in play, so I should bring in Foreign Wise. That's actually an oversight because I was sticking to Phillies. Foreign Wise needs to be in here. I do like taking their artifact. This offense with Joshua, yes, with Akeem too, if you bring him in, but I just did a different build. But Ezra and Joshua, all in the same battle, is really, really good, especially with bouncing humans. You get rid of their humans that are bugging you, territory class, whatever. You could also force them. You can bounce 2 humans with Jehoshaphat Ezra and force them to block from hand easily in every turn with Book of the Law as well. So we already saw their hand. We'll Angel Lord call it a day. We did get out our teal character. And we do go into Denarius, which takes an evil Roman from deck or a New Testament Gray enhancement. Shuffle. Draw 3. Yay. You're discarded. Interesting. I wonder if the opponent had a bunch of souls out, then, and I gave him Hopper, that I could play Son of God Second Coming. I can put down Malachi, and now I can wait for my opponent to go. And yes, I have a Tenet's Kills plus 3 woes, so that's a really good block. Do I want to Mayhem or not? So honestly, I wouldn't want to. I would want to keep Tenet's 3 woes and Nero as a block. I could always lose Malachi to a Mayhem, like shuffle him back in. So I would block here. and I would have an interrupt discard. If they played anything else, I'll have a woes. So good block. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, and now, so stars, bounce an artifact, another nice little niche play that works in the current meta, bounce an artifact. This is also good for covenants for you. And don't put anything down yet or play anything because we have a 3 woes trigger. So we'll use our 3 woes and play golden calf. And now we could actually max out Mahone. Mayhem. No need to shovel. So this is a very consistent deck. A lot of strong consistency pieces and a lot of just generating resources with counters to counters as well. So probably going to play the VB. I'm going to birth out someone. Who do we want to birth? And I clicked reserve, so I cannot go back to hand. I'm going to try to say that a lot because the point, as I repeat myself, the point of these videos, I think, are to bring attention to the meta, what I think the meta is, top tier decks, and focus on, even though I cheat all the time, right? Look into how to manage misplays and mitigate, like eliminate your misplays. Think before you do things and not accidentally cheat. And one of those big rules is looking at your hand or deck or reserve in between searching from one pile or area to the other. So we already looked at our hand. We played Virgin Birth. We could only look at our reserve at this point. We have an Ezra bounce. We're probably going to want to go to, we don't have a Jehu sword for Jehu yet. I'm gonna be honest, I did forget my hand. So I think we go to, we can't really use Joshua yet because Eleazar doesn't really do anything. So we do want to have a double bounce going, and Jehoshaphat can bounce and Eleazar or Ezra can bounce, and then we can go back to a post-exilic. So we're going to take Jehoshaphat to hand. Yeah, and I didn't think I had a way to go to anything reserve. Hey, if you had Z Temple in here. So let's see. We will attack. First, we're going to see what is our attack. Right now, Zechariah works. We also have Jeremiah. We also have Jeremiah. And we just hit him with Teaching in Parables and Angel of Lord. So really good. We have the double bounce to get Eleazar and Zerubbabel back in hand. And Zerubbabel can ban to a postie. So we would have to keep everything in mind. That's why I like to kind of stack my heroes. And I'll do this and play. Just don't take forever. I will think, what am I want to doing? If I'm going to ban, what do I want to do and why? So Jehoshaphat would bounce Eleazar, Ezra would bounce Zerubbabel, and I would get to ban to a post-exilic. I could go to Malachi, I could check my discard real quick, and I get a star card for Malachi, but I don't really have anything in hand. So I don't think a 3-hero band with a Teaching in Parables is going to cut it. So I wouldn't need to ban to Malachi. I would probably band to Zerubbabel and go to Zechariah. And Zechariah needs a minor prophet and a priest, a temple priest in play. So I don't need to show Jeremiah. Or you go Ezra, bounce Eleazar, Jehoshaphat to Jeremiah. So we can do one or the other. We can look at their hand and toss the next thing they play and just put constant pressure on them. Or we can go to a big by the numbers band. We honestly don't know the answer to this, because we're goldfishing. But because it's so early in the game, chances are they don't really have anything down. I think both plays are correct. You would have to think what defense they're playing if they possibly have some star cards. Or if you think they have like a couple enhancements. We don't know. What should we do? That's a tough one. Guys, so where you win games based on, and it's not a misplay, it's just based on board knowledge and what you think you should do. I would say usually the by the number play is better, but people are still playing the scattered sheep. So that it scares me because so many people are playing CBP cards that I think I just go with Jeremiah. So let's do it. Ezra's going to bounce Eleazar. May ban to a post-exilic hero. He bans to Eleazar from hand. He bans to an Old Testament human warrior. Jehoshaphat bounces Zerubbabel and bans to a priest. And now I get the hand look, so I know. And hey, what do you know is the right choice? Because they have to stop a 4-hero band, and it's CBI, CBP, and then I get the hand look, which doesn't matter. It's not like I could play anything, but I get the toss after I saw him with the teaching in parables and the hand look as well. So you would have that knowledge to help you make a better, more informed decision. If you saw CBP or CBN, the obvious choice is here, or if you saw no enhancements, the obvious choice is Jeremiah. Or if you saw certain characters, like a Firefox's, did we search? Went to reserve, but so it all depends on kind of what you would see last turn. Okay, so we got our characters down. We don't have any evil enhancements. So they attack. We're going to go to Deceiver, to Commander, Pahihako. And so we'll go to Fikel. And probably equip a weapon from reserve. It's going to be Goliath's armor. We're just deciding, since we didn't put Goliath down, we wanted to hold on to him. I really want more black weapons in reserve. Like I really want Saf to prevent the next, and I'm just equipping weapons, preventing the next thing you play and discarding you. Like especially with a withdraw all, it's such a good little piece. Like it's good little defense. I see how the offense runs. Just a lot of offensive cards. If I could take out like 2 and bring in Saf and another weapon. Honestly, I would like to bring in 2 more weapons, and I'm just popping weapons down and discarding you and preventing the next. It's just really strong, especially when I get a withdraw all and then discard you. Anyway, Commander Fikel. I'd rather have a bigger character that's protected from the next, even though it's not CBN. That's okay. Fikel can ban to a Philistine. And we can go to armor bearer to someone else, to like a Philistine commanders. We can go to garrison, have like double protection, or we can draw if they drew. Armor bearer to probably a commanders and withdraw them and be protected from the first, since we don't really have any enhancements to play. We want to at least make the opponent waste something. And if we withdraw all but 1 and we're protected from the first, they have to get through a band and they have to get through a band plus protection, and I also get to band off commanders, and I can take Philistine garrison or outpost from deck, or ban to Goliath. Yeah, kick out. We don't know if we assume they didn't draw. So let's just go to maybe like, do we want the add to battle? We'll take the add to battle character. So let's say they had to waste 2 enhancements and they're all dead. Okay, they get the soul. I have no way of reshuffling. So yeah, they get the soul. And we're good. I probably wouldn't give them exiles, to be honest. I'd give them darkness, because let's say they did somehow, like they son of God my thorns and second coming my orphans, and then exchange lost souls or something, and it got reset somehow. Just the fact that there's a chance it could get reset. Lawless. At this point, we don't really have great like enhancements, and we can't generate, we don't have a bunch of drawing going. So not really sure block wise. And I toyed with Storehouse being here, but I didn't have enough. Like I had a bunch of characters and ways to get cards that I needed. So like I said, maybe Storehouse, more weapons come in. We'll see. Let's see, star abilities, nothing. Lawless triggers. Like I said, we don't have evil enhancements. We do have add to battle though. And we're assuming the opponent isn't drawing, or else we're getting herdsmen, but we could reveal to owner. This also assumes that the opponent has lost souls out, or else we lawless them. And we can take an evil card. So do we want the scattered sheep or the crowd's choice? The crowd's choice can be anything. And that goes to the bottom of deck. Immediately we need to know that we're going to upkeep, because we have an upkeep trigger. So we do that. We 3 woes something to have in their territory. I say that just a constant reiteration of to not miss upkeep. Check anything else is upkeep. No. Book of the Law or Golden Calf. We need to generate a few resources. And I only have 14 cards left in deck, and I believe it's turn 3. So I could have, I feel like I should have had David already, or Emmaus Road. I didn't put Faith in here, but let's see, sorry y'all. Okay. Dramatic pause for effect. So let's see. Bounce a human not in battle. You can bounce theirs. You can bounce yours if you feel like you want it protected. Don't just bounce to bounce. We need to put Jeshua out because we have Book of the Law. We don't need Philistine Garrison out yet, but we are going to put Garrison down. We are going to go to the Book of the Law. So look at your hand first, go to the reserve and look at what you're going to take. If your meek hero is blocked from hand. So we would, if they had any evil characters out, like we would pretty much make them block from hand. But remember, we have 2 bounce as well. So they have to have 4 evil characters out, or not humans, because that's human. So they either have to play demons or have a bunch of characters out, because I can bounce 3 and make you block from hand. Anyway, we got to think what we are going to take before we you know, when we attack. So we kind of want to look at our reserve prior to. We see if we want to do a crowd's choice to get like a big band going and get David and Jehu in here, because we don't have that all game. Bunch of choices with this deck. A lot of heroes. If we use crowd's choice for evil, we can get some enhancements, but we do have Garrison, armor bearers can go back to commanders and Goliath, so we do have a good block. I'll say whatever and go to crowd's choice is good. And I can Emmaus Road into anything I want. I can go to a big band to Eliud. I can go David, and then I could go Jehoshaphat to David, to Joshua. It's just about board state. I think I do enough hand looking in this deck because of First Sacrifice, Teaching in Parables, Jeremiah. But I really like the thought of and Thummim in here. I just don't think I want to say Zerubbabel and Thummim, and Thummim over and over again. But having high priests, they're just Sea Temple priests. They're not. What is I think it's a high priest. Oh well. There's enough hand looking, right? There's also 2 stars and another one. All right, what are we getting? We don't really know. How do we want to attack them? So we would have to see what we want our band to finish with and what we want it to do. And if we want to generate resources from the reserve. This deck has too many options, man. I'm telling you. Like we have a reset Zerubbabel. So we do have a band. So we could have Jehoshaphat, Ezra, Eleazar, and you could even throw in Jehu in there to you do that. Warrior priest, no, that wouldn't work. I'm just trying to think if I get Zerubbabel in here. So it'd be like Jehoshaphat, Ezra. You can bring in Jehu. I'd probably leave him out to Zerubbabel to Eliud. That's good too. Make him discard an evil card from hand. I still think tossing is better. We have a big band with toss. So with that being said, let's go to Emmaus Road. All that for just an Emmaus Road. And I think we are going to, we do need to draw 2, kind of putting down what we're going to do. He's going to ban to a postie, bans to a warrior, he bans to a priest. That's probably going to be our attack. But before that, I will play Emmaus Road and go to a star card. Pick a star, any star. Oh, and I did choose reserve because I pretty much just want to go to Teaching in Parables again or First Sacrifice. I'll go to a First Sacrifice, get the hand look, and make sure that this band is enough, because I could always end it with Zechariah. So I do think this band would be enough with a Jeremiah and a First Sacrifice. Whoops. So Zerubbabel gets me the draw 2. I'm gonna go ahead and discard Nero. Draw 2. And that's pretty much what we wanted. Get a couple resources. Force them to block from hand. And I also, your meek hero attack, so I get to take a good card from reserve. We have David out, so David can start. David could go to Jehu. So I could take Jehu's sword But I only have 9 cards left in deck. I'm probably going to get to a Wages of Sin as well. So if I want something for this battle, probably get like a Gathered Together and band in Malachi and Zechariah and start getting back some resources. And that's assuming they block. If they block from hand, I can take a good card from deck, which I would have bounced their humans in territory. So I'll take a good card from deck. This deck kind of drew out weird, but we always had a ton of options too. So they would have to band if they could do anything. We would play Gathered Together, and we could band up to X, and that's evil, good and evil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just on our side. No sights or anything, so 6 just on our side. And we would bring in Eliad, David, Malachi, and Zechariah and just go for the kill. The opponent would have to discard an evil card from hand or territory. We bounce all their stuff to make them discard a card from hand. Oh, I sneezed. I'm so sorry. If you said bless you, then I say thank you. If you did not, then I have nothing to say to you. David can band from reserve. And then we can go ahead and get Jehu ready, or we can just go to Joshua and underdeck as well, which is nice. If the opponent blocks with an evil territory class card, you can band in Joshua. I don't see this from a lot of people. So if the opponent ever blocks with a High Priest Ananias, you can band in Joshua and have a CBN underdeck. It's really good. Then we're going to go to Malachi, and he gets to top deck, but I get to take it. He gets to top deck a star card from discard pile, and I get to draw one because of Jeshua, and then I'll bring in Zechariah. So really, really good band there. Before I use Emmaus Road, I would look at reserve. Is there anything else I want to do? And if I thought that through, I would have put Teaching in Parables on top of my deck and taken First Sacrifice instead to get the reserve top card of their deck. But I could use Emmaus Road to go to Jairus and to Daughter and have a big band next turn as well. So we now put down Garrison. Don't forget to do that at the end of the turn. Sometimes I've done that in the past where I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this down at the end, and I get so excited after or upset. I'm just like, man, I should have had that, or I messed up, and I say your turn, and I forget to put down something. Put down Garrison. We'll block and just say it's like a little block with Scattered Sheep or something like that. We have a lot of blocks here at the end, so I do feel good about it. We have banding and armor bearer. Probably just go armor bearer to commanders. Goliath, make the opponent do something, and we have a negate and discard. And worst case scenario, we could reserve, like let's say they had a character from hand, and played AOC. That would suck. I wouldn't have anyone. Let's say they didn't do that, and I just played AOC. Yeah, I blocked, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we can play Lost Soul from a deck. We can reserve the top card of a deck. So we will do both. We'll get some soul generation to go for the kill here. See, I was about to grab Teaching in Parables, but we go upkeep. So hit your upkeep. Before we play Teaching in Parables, we could probably go to Emmaus Road. And don't just throw down Wages of Sin, because you want to look. So we probably want to play Jehu's Sword, but remember, I have a Christian Martyr in deck too, so we can play Wages of Sin to get back, to get Jehu's sword, and then David can go to Jehu. I think Jehu, is that a discard ability? Opponent must discard an evil card from hand or territory. I would say that's a discard ability. So Wages of Sin could get Jehu and sword. But what I'm getting at is I don't have a way. I only have a way to 1 unless I set up Jehu for next turn, which it'll be game over by then. So let's just go Wages of Sin to Martyr. And what I didn't do, I didn't look at my deck to see what I had left for Emmaus Road. I kind of knew there was nothing left because there's only 5, and I have enough star cards in the reserve that I wanted to get. So I'd go to Coming Prince. That does shuffle everything. Coming Prince to First Sacrifice, which goes to hand because of Jeshua. And now I have Teaching in Parables and First Sacrifice. And if they have like a storehouse or something out, or if they have, it doesn't really matter because I have Woes and Teaching in Parables, so I can get rid of, or I can negate Storehouse and Crowd's Lawsel because this negates a card in a territory for the turn. So I'd get 2 evil cards from their hand, and they would probably both be enhancements. I could Book of the Law my Zerubbabel, and I can do my massive band to Jairus if I want. And let's see, what would that be? I feel like this video is long, sorry. So we would do like Jeshua, Ezra, to a post-exilic. And to Old Testament warrior. David needs to go to, or would it be Joshua to David? And then David would go to Jehu. And Jehu would go to Jairus. Oh, you don't even have Jairus, you numbnuts, right? Where is he? Oh, I'm not crazy, right? Oh, I put him down. And then Jehu would go to Jairus, and Jairus would then go to Jairus's daughter. Oh, and you wouldn't have a, you wouldn't be able to negate everything, but you would have an amazing faith. So we don't even need Jairus. Good job, Tyler. You suck. And that is why we look at our band before we do it. So we're still going to get out Jehu. Nah, we don't need him. So we looked at their hand. We got rid of both enhancements. Say they have another. And we would have all that right there. We can go to Zerubbabel. If we didn't see a Deceiver or Foreign Wives, we could also Zerubbabel to draw 2 as well. These 3 characters are post-exilics if we wanted to do anything with that band, but I like this band right here. And what we could do is Joshua. We could even switch. I was trying to get Jehu in here as well, but it doesn't matter. Video's taking forever because there's so many options. This would be the band. We bounce everyone, make them block from hand if we want, toss the next, and have amazing faith. So that's it. The offense is really good because it has so many options. Put the hand pressure on them, control the board through bouncing, and it really is hand control. You can band in Malachi. Maybe that is too cute. Maybe you want a couple more bands. It was weird that I didn't get a couple things going and I was still able to do whatever I wanted. So that is trademark Ghostees. I'm just kidding. It's not Ghosties. It's literally Jairus's daughter. but this is, I guess you could say, a post-exilic Jehu build, just a different version. And we're playing Herdsmen, different ways to Herdsmen. For Matthew Tech, we do need a foreign wives in here, and we get this is a huge counter deck. Joshua and Ezra and bouncing characters really helps out. You saw how just efficient, consistent, and it had the little extra speed in it. And that was without using Herdsman and Gurar. So there's that aspect as well. I do want Priest of Zeus and Melchizedek in here. And maybe some more weapons, because Saf, weapons, commanders, Goliath, just really good blocks. So maybe the reserve comes down a little bit, and maybe we bring in Wicked instead of Prosperity. Don't know. I kind of like having Prosperity in this build. I'm looking at you, Exiles, Mr. First Turn. So a couple things. Maybe if you have Melchizedek in here, then Orphans comes out. And Orphans can come out for Wicked. And we can keep all the other Lost Souls as is. Melchizedek can go into the reserve. I really like that play of banding in. Like, you saw the value when I got to band Gathered Together, because it works on so many of my heroes, and I got to band in like I could band in Jairus and not do the ability. So what I like to do is, I'll show you this. Come at you with this big old band. I get to toss the first, and I played Gathered Together, and Gathered Together then lets me bring in, as I said earlier and showed, all these characters, and I don't reveal a good dominant. I just tossed something. I now negated what you played. I got back a card. I discard an evil card from your hand, and then I bring in Jairus' daughter to toss the next thing you play, which really isn't even, that's a win more at that point. There's no way you have anything else left. But if I'm bouncing your evil humans, you're going to discard them to keep your enhancements. I'm negating what you play and then tossing your next one. So the only thing is I'm putting my entire offense in one band. So just know, if you think you're going to go Gathered Together, maybe keep a couple characters out. You don't need to put the entire offense in. But yeah, this is really good offense in type 1 and type 2. This is really good offense in general. It's the Jehu build. It's a little bit of Ghostees. It's Jeremiah, Jairus' daughter, like that I said months ago. Really fun to play, really efficient, real consistent in general. A lot of options, as you saw. It can be difficult to play. Utilize the hand look to get the right attacks. And I think that is it. Sorry for rambling on. That's what I do. This is Tyler Talks. That's it. Goodbye.